Hi guys, I'm live. How you guys doing? I think it's guitar lesson time. And explain this a little bit. I figured something out on my walk about basic guitar structure and theory and visualization and all that. That no one told me. I just figured out for myself. But it's so simple that it's been right in front of me the whole time. And it's also so simple it might not even help, but it is something I always was trying to figure out as a kid, and no one really explained it to me but I figured it out on my walk yesterday. But I didn't just deliver it right away. I didn't want to just jump the gun. I wanted to process it and see how I wanted to deliver it and see if I even wanted to deliver it at all. But I think it's worth saying. And it's something that I just tried to figure out as a kid, and then just figure out everything else first. Then finally, not everything, and nobody knows everything. But I figured it out on my walk yesterday, so I thought I'd show it to you guys. And quick comment on the AI thing. The matter is always telling me to use AI for everything under the sun, and I don't. I write my own comments. I write my own. I don't ask AI a whole bunch of stuff. I don't ask AI to write my songs. I keep AI completely out of that process. I'm human, shirtless guy, and I remind the moderator that I named him moderator first of all, and not AI. I did. Shirtless Guy named the moderator, and it wasn't AI, and it was Shirtless Guy. So live next peace, love and rock and roll. So now I always seem to use my black guitar for lessons because it's tuned to E. Normal, but I don't like to do everything the same. Once everything is the same every time, I like to break it up. So I'm going to use the pink guitar that's tuned to E flat. So if you want to tune up, you got to tune a little flatter than you normally do. But if not, you can at least get the gist of it from washing my hands and getting the gist of it anyway. So I thought I'd use the pink Jim Jr. guitar. Jim Jr. sounds like Jim Jr., doesn't it? Jim Jr. For the lesson. Okay, so forgive the stupid simplicity of this. If you already know this or think it's obvious, then then click off the video, and please forgive me because I didn't mean to do such. Okay, so there's a thing called the caged system, CAGED. Those are the 5 open position chords that you have on a guitar. Let's go over that real quick. Should I put no distortion? Let's turn the distortion down. So there's 5 because it turns out if you try to make a 6th one, you just get the first one barred in a different fret. Because once you go to 6, you're going to a 4th up in chromaticness, and a half step up in fifthness. So let's see. So for instance, if I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, those are all fifths. The 6th one is F sharp, and that's a half step lower than the one I started with. So you don't get a new material. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 6th one is a half step away. So let me explain this. Well, I'm just blabbing. You have E. It's an E open E chord. Don't forget you have E minor also. That's part of what I figured out. Is it's not just major or minor. It's either one / both. E major, E minor. Fair enough. Now the next one is A. E major. And A minor. Next, D major and G minor. Next is G major and G minor, believe it or not. And then C major and C minor. Careful with that E though. E doesn't sound good in this context because it wants to be E flat. Damn, I said tune up here. playing the E. It makes it like a minor 11. Anyway, those are the 5 different. Oh, and if you go further than C minor, C major, you get F major and F minor. That's C, D, E, F. F is a fourth above C. But you already have E major, so the F is just a bar of one half step higher than the E was. Yeah. So those are the 5 open position major and minor triads or chords. But here's what I figured out. Let me make sure these things are all tight here so I can not be slipping in and out of tune. This is really a great guitar. My strings are getting old on all my guitars. I don't have the Matter's kind of money. I can't buy like a billion set of strings. Now here's what I figured out. Here's the secret. There's the pentatonic scale. It doesn't matter if you say minor pentatonic or major pentatonic. They're just modes of each other. Pick one. I pick minor. So because if I say major pentatonic, that's just a mode of the minor pentatonic scale. And the minor pentatonic is more rock and roll. It's more useful. It's more one bar across one fret makes a minor pentatonic scale, not a major pentatonic scale. Unless you make the root in the 3rd string, but it's more easy to make. It's more logical to make the root the highest string or the lowest string. That's A minor pentatonic, but it's also C minor pentatonic. But C's in the middle, A's are on the top and the bottom. So better way of looking at it. So what I figured out is that if you take the minor pentatonic scale and you take the 5 positions of it, let me explain that. Let's say let's pick G for now. So G minor pentatonic. There's that position. There's this position. There's this position. This position. This one. And finally did back to the octave above the first one. All right. Each of those 5 positions, because the 6th one is just the same as the first one up an octave, define each of those 5 major or minor chords if you put it in that context. And that's what I figured out on my walk. So let's say I have G minor pentatonic. That form is a B flat major chord. If you play it, if you want to play those notes of it. And in open terms, that would be a G major. Because the open position of a B flat major is a G major in that position. That would then be using an E minor pentatonic scale, and then this is the G chord from that E minor pentatonic scale. So that means that this scale is a G form pattern of the minor pentatonic scale. It just is. So that means if I'm playing G itself, G minor pentatonic, on that position. position, that would be a G form, but in this case B flat. I play A minor pentatonic, I would have C major. That's still a G form pattern because the in open position that chord is a G. Sliding it up and down frets it makes it different chords, but it's open no position, it's a G form. So the first position of the pentatonic scale is a G major form, or it's an E minor form as well. You can play E minor. It's also that same pattern. Open E minor is if I'm in A minor pentatonic, that's an E minor form pattern. That first position. Though I'm playing A, it's actually an E. I mean, even though I'm playing A minor, it's actually an E minor form. So our typical box first position of minor pentatonic scale is either a G form, G major form, or an E minor form. Whatever pattern you're on. If it's B minor pentatonic, this position, this would be D major. I can play it here. D major or B minor. That's a G form or an E minor form. Shape. It's just moved up and down the neck. Rather than an open, this is G major or E minor. So there we have the first position. So there's a minor and there's a major, and there's 5 positions of a minor pentatonic scale, and there's 5 open minor chords, 5 open major chords, and each one of the 5 positions of the minor pentatonic scale has a major pattern to it and a minor pattern to it. You just go right up the neck. It's all there, and I could not see that, dang it, growing up as a kid. Now let's do the next one. A major. Well, let's not do it that way. Let's do it sliding up the pattern of the scale. So let's say I'm in G minor pentatonic. The next pattern is up here. I should tell you the frets on that. I'm just playing it. It's hard to tell. So this first pattern, if I'm in G minor pentatonic, was 6th fret, 3rd fret, 6th fret, 3rd fret, 5th fret, 3rd fret, 5th fret, 3rd fret, 5th fret, 3rd fret, 6th fret, 3rd fret. 3rd fret, 6th fret, 3rd, 5, 3, 5, 3, 5, 3, 6, 3, 6. Okay, that would be G minor pentatonic. Then I'm the frets. Now I'm going to go up to the first shape. The next, and I call that my teacher always called that form 1 for some reason. Now I'm going to go to form 3. He called it, which is the next one up. That in G minor pentatonic, that's 6, 8, 5, 8, 5, 8, 6, 7. Okay, come on. 6, 8, 5, 8, 5, 8, 5, 7, 6, 8, 6, 8, 8, 6, 8, 6, 7, 5, 8, 5, 8, 5, 8, 6. He called that form 3. Tom Frank, my teacher. What would that one be? That's it. First of all, it's an open E major. It has an open E form major to it. So it's an E major form pattern. Open position wise, play E major, and I have this. In G is a B flat chord, flat major, but it has formed an open E there. So form 3 shape is an open E major, but it's also an open D minor form. See that right there? See that you can play that right there too. It's like the D minor chord. That's a pretty chord. That's the form 3 is also an open D minor position. So play in this case it would be G minor. Yeah, it would be G minor, in this position, but it's actually an open D. It's an open D minor shape. So if you have D minor is this. Of course, that's F major now, but it works for the D minor. Whereas when I had the major form was open E major, which is down a half step. But so be it. So this is an open E. This pattern here is an open E major form or an open D minor form. So there's that, and there's logic to all this. And then the next form he called 4 and 5. That would be 10, 8, 11, 8, 10, 7, 10, 8, 10, 8, 10, 8, 8, 10, 8, 10, 8, 10, 7, 10, 8, 11, 8, 10. So that pattern would be, and let's analyze that. That would be an open D major. See that? An open D major chord. Only it's way up here. That would be B flat major in this case. But this pattern is an open D major pattern shape. I know this is boring, but hey, it took me 44 years to figure it out. So B flat major. The minor one would be the C minor. That hard one I was playing over here. C minor position shape. In this case, it'd be G minor. But yet B flat major. So this is a C minor pattern. It's an open. It's a C minor moved up a few frets to make it a G minor. That's this pattern here. We called it form 5. Is an open C minor pattern or an open D major pattern. It's not easy to figure out. It may sound dumb and obvious when I say it, but it took a bunch of mind work to figure it out. All right, next pattern. He called this form. 2. Actually, he called it form 2. This one up here. That's a 13, 10, 13, 11, 12, 10, 12, 10, 13, 10, 13, 10, 10, 13, 10, 13, 10, 12, 10, 12, 11, 13, 10, 13. So that's form 2. I'll explain it for a little bit why he called those numbers 1, 2, 3, and all that. I figured that out too. That would be a C major pattern, open C major pattern. Same as an open C major triad. Moved up to here. Moved up to make it a B flat major. It's also has a G minor. This is an open A minor pattern. Just moved up a few frets. So the open A minor, it comes up to G minor, which makes this shape form 2. An A minor, open A minor pattern, or an open C major pattern. In this case, though, it's G minor and B flat major. Boring as heck, huh? Last one he called form 4. That's the final 5th one until you get to the octave higher of the first one. This is 13, 11, 13, 11, 13, 10, 13, 10, 13, 11, 13, 11, 11, 13. Dang it. 15, 13, 15, 13, 15, 12, 15, 12, 15, 13, 15, 13, 13, 15, 13, 15, 12, 15, 12, 15, 13, 15, 13, 15. 13, 15. Okay. This is an open A major shape. But it's up here to make it a B flat major. It's an open A major pattern shape, and it's also an open G minor shape. Here it's it's an open. Wait, that's weird. Oh, it is a G minor right there, isn't it? That's kind of cool. Oh well, had to line up sometime, right? I didn't have to, but it did. G minor is actually G minor is what it is on the open too. G minor. So form 4 is an open G minor form, or an open A major form. In this case, you have B flat major for the if you play the major in it, and you have G minor. So it's an open A major form or an open G minor form. And finally, back to G minor. The first shape again is an open E minor form. In this case, up to G minor. And it's an open G major form. Only in this case, up to B flat major. Okay, so that's the gist of it. And then how do you play with this? Well, when you're playing, you can think of. When you're playing pentatonics, or even adding the other notes, but I'll get to that in a second maybe. Playing pentatonics, you can think of the chord shapes to help you figure out what to do with it, or where you're at, or what the pattern is. If I'm playing A minor pentatonic, I know I have a G major type of chord. I know I have an E minor type of chord. It can't hurt to know that. Helps you phrase, help you know what you're doing. Helps you keep from playing bad notes, LOL, and it all lines up. And they call it the cage system because if you take the notes E, A, D, G, and C, you can spell the word cage, C-A-G-E-D, but I don't do it in that order because that's just a coincidence that happens to spell that, first of all. It's even more of a coincidence if they're actually in order. If I play them, I can actually do it in order. I'll show that in a second. But it's even more of a coincidence. So why start at C? Because that's just a coincidence of lettering. It could have been dunked and could have started on a totally different one. You know, it just happens to be spelled caged. If you start on C, I don't start it on C. It's just to spell caged. But let's go over that just to show that it does. If I take an E minor, if I take the letters E, A, D, G, and C, you can spell caged. It's even like this. It's even let's see, open C. Let's play the in G minor. I would play the open C pattern for the C major. Let's say that would be up here. Let's see. That would be up here. So that would be form 2 would be the C major form. Next one is form 4, which is a form A. So far you have C A major. So far you have C A. Then I went up to here, the original box is a G major form, so C A G. Then the next, that was form 1. Form 3 is an E, open E major, so C A G E. And then form 5 was an open D major, so D, C-A-G-E-D. You can spell caged, and not only, and then if you go up even higher to open to the next one, you just start back at C again, which in this case was B flat major, but then again there's a C form, so it's C-A-G-E-D, C-A-G-E-D up and down, but who cares? That's just a mnemonic. It just happens to spell. But you can do the same thing with minors. Let's do that. C minor. So what's the C minor form of a G? Which one was that? It was up here, I think. C minor. I think it was G. I think it was form 4 is C minor form. Right? So that would be the C minor form on form 4. Then was that true? Let me think. Yeah. I think. Let me think. Wait, am I in the wrong key? Yeah, I'm in the wrong key. No, I'm not. Wait, C minor. Okay, C minor. Let me think about this. Oh, that's not C minor. That's why. Let's go to the D plan. Okay, it's right here. The open D major form is open C minor. So that's what Tom called form 5 would be C minor, and then up to form 2 is A minor position. So we have C, A, they're minors, and then you have up here you have the G minor. So far you have C, A, G. That's what he called form 4 would be the G minor pattern. Then what he called form 1 was E minor, so C, A, G, E minor. And then finally form 3 was D minor, so C, C minor, A minor, G minor, E minor, then D minor. And then and that's this form. And then form 3. And then form 5 that came after that was again the C minor, which you started with. So C-A-G-E-D, C-A-G-E-D again, up and down, but in this case minors. But who wants to know? That just confuses it. Try to start on C all the time. First, there's no reason for it musically. Second of all, you have to think too hard to spell the word cage, and it gets you lost, and a little bit more lost than if you just think of it the way I did it the first time for guitar layout. But he formed them the ways and he called them those forms. I think form 1 is the starting one. It's the one that has a bar across all frets, which is a cool chord, by the way. Remember in Third Step from the Sun, he just goes. Just an open E minor pentatonic as a chord. Strings open. It's so badass that Hendrix did that in Third Step from the Sun. It's my favorite all-time song. All-time favorite song. That's form 1. Just have to start somewhere. Form 2 is way up here, but that's 1 sharp. So yeah, take 1 sharp of form 1 makes form 2. So he sharped a note, and that gives you form 2. Form 3 is sharp 1 more note. That's form 3. Form 4 is sharp 1 more note. Form 5, sharp 1 more note. And finally form 1 again, sharp 1 more note than that, and you get which is an A sharp minor pentatonic when you started with an A. So it all works out. You did it in order of the notes in the sharpness and flatness of the notes. Form 1, sharp 1 note to get form 2. Sharp another one to get form 3. Sharp another one to get form 4. Sharp another one to get form 5. Sharp another one, you get form 1 up a half step, just a transposition, sliding from A to A sharp or B flat. minor pentatonic. So he did it, you know, it'd be like saying Lydian is form 1, Ionian is form 2, mixed Lydian is form 3, Dorian is form 4, Aeolian is form 5, Phrygian is form 6, and Logan is form 7. And if you did that in diatonics, which that was not a bad idea, but we don't. Somewhere else, and we don't do that. But that would be a cool thing, though. Like the most sharp mode is Lydian. That could be form 1. Wait, sorry. That's an A Lydian. Could be form 1. A Ionian could be form 2. If you have a form, you'd have to say it's in a certain position. So Lydian would be form 1. Ionian is form 2. Mixed Lydian is form 3. Dorian is form 4. Aeolian is form 5. Phrygian is form 6. Locan is form 7. And finally, flat again, you'd have form 1, but down to A flat major, A flat Lydian. Ooh, almost goofy. A flat Lydian would be form 1, but down a half step. The A that you started on. That's not bad. That's kind of cool, actually. But the problem with that is there's no problem with that. Do it if you want. Lydian, form 1. Ionian form 2. Mixed Lydian form 3. Dorian form 4. Aeolian form 5. Phrygian form 6. Locan form 7. Back to form 1, down a half step from the original form, from original A form 1 down to A flat form 1. You could do that. Why not? Why not, right? But he did that with pentatonics. He's the only one. And I never saw that in a book. It was just his own thing. But that's what I learned when I first started learning. So there's that, and I figured out how it connects to the 5 open minor chords and 5 open major chords, all positions it lines up, the whole thing. That was not easy to think of. I mean, yeah, it sounds stupid. It almost sounds like ridiculously simple, and not much to say about it. But that's often the hardest things to figure out. You know, the hard things sometimes are easier, but sometimes the basic things that no one either knows or tells you. Some of the hardest things you're going to figure out about life or music or anything else, because no one tells you. And it's so simple, it's right in front of your face and you can't see it. You get myopia about it and you can't find it, you can't see it, and you give up, and finally 50 years later you think, oh, that was what it was. That's how he taught me scales. Then he taught me to add 2 notes in between to make it diatonic. Like you add these 2 notes. If you're an A minor pentatonic, these notes were black, whole with filled in. T was on the note of the tonic, and then notes that weren't filled in were the optional notes you can make a Dorian out of, which is the major 6 and the major 2nd and the major 6 to make it Dorian note. So that's how he taught me scales, and he taught me the power chords. You have this guy, this one, this one, this one. The power chords, and of course you knew the open A, all the open chords from books. And there was very little information out there. You had to learn a lot of stuff on your own. There was no tablatures. You had to learn things by ear. Fuck people that tell me I use tabs. How did I learn tabs to Billy Joel songs? How do I do tabs to everything I've done? Michael Jackson, the way you make me feel. Load up the tab for that. How did I find it? And how did I learn it from that instead of learning it by ear, assholes? No, I had to say that. I'm sorry. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the lesson. Love you guys. Peace, love, and rock and roll.